Typing a prompt and waiting for a chatbot to answer is a linear, one-to-one process. You ask, it answers, and you type again. Google Antigravity changes this model. You hand off a broad objective, and an AI agent executes multiple asynchronous steps in the background. Antigravity is a specialized environment where you deploy autonomous digital employees that navigate a file system, a terminal, and a browser without constant manual prompting. You can instruct an agent to open a code editor, write a script, run terminal commands, and physically click through a live web browser to test a page. But doing this requires pairing multi-step tool access with the deep knowledge synthesis of NotebookLM. That specific combination sits squarely behind the Google AI Pro and Ultra subscription paywalls. Does the operational output of a true agentic workflow actually justify the monthly cost and the grueling technical setup required to get it running?
First, we have to define what an agentic workflow actually is. This diagram compares the two models. On the left is standard AI chat. A single input yields a single output. On the right is an agentic workflow. You give the agent an end-to-end objective, and it creates its own execution tree, planning and looping through tasks independently. This setup targets advanced SEOs and marketers who manage high-volume, repetitive data tasks across multiple platforms. Moving to this model means you stop writing code or meta descriptions directly. Your primary work becomes reviewing plan artifacts and approving the agent's next move, which changes your daily routine from building to managing. The Google subscription fee is a minor factor. The real barrier to entry is the sheer willpower and time required to build out the initial infrastructure. To get an agent to operate in a real marketing environment, you must manually connect it to Google Cloud APIs, like Google Drive, the Search Console, and indexing APIs. This chart maps effort against impact. Manual data export sits way down here in the high-effort, low-return zone. Setting up automation is frustrating, generating JSON credentials and configuring consent screens. But once built, the agent natively queries Search Console and pushes data to Drive instantly. No human intervention is ever required again. You suffer through an agonizing technical configuration once, just to completely eliminate manual reporting from your schedule forever. You should only take on this technical headache if the hours you spend pulling monthly reports far outweigh a 2 to 3 hour initial setup penalty. If you make it through setup, the Google AI Pro tier provides the rate limits needed for reliable single-agent execution and basic integration with your NotebookLM files. It also changes how you review work by introducing artifacts. This is the Artifacts dashboard. Instead of parsing raw code, you review tangible deliverables like spreadsheets, task lists, and screenshots. A marketer cannot effectively read through terminal tool calls to see if an SEO audit worked. Artifacts give you a clean, visual deliverable to check the agent's logic at a glance. You can click directly on a screenshot or document and leave a comment. The agent reads that feedback and adjusts its execution flow immediately. The main constraint of the Pro tier is computing bandwidth. You cannot run multiple distinct agents at the exact same time. Execution is strictly serial. If you assign a core Web Vitals audit, the agent has to finish that completely before it can start pulling keyword volume. Pro gives you highly effective output, but you are managing a team of one. Gemini 3 models excel at logic, data, and API calls, but they struggle to guess your aesthetic preferences for a landing page or UI update. If you want specific visual results, you have to use an external tool like V0 to generate a precise mockup before you engage Antigravity. Uploading that screenshot gives the agent a strict visual constraint, forcing it to write code that matches your exact UI request. You have to act as an art director up front. Investing a few minutes into visual constraints prevents the AI from making wild guesses about layout and color. The quality of the final marketing asset directly matches the clarity of the visual inputs you provide to the agent. Upgrading to Google AI Ultra is a decision based entirely on the need for multi-agent orchestration. This diagram illustrates the manager surface on the new Ultra tier. You have a central hub branching into separate nodes, running a product manager, a copywriter, and a technical SEO agent simultaneously. These operate asynchronously, tackling long-running site audits in the background without interfering with each other's codebases. Ultra also expands NotebookLM's context limits, letting these parallel agents instantly reference massive cross-campaign datasets while they work.
This massive spike in bandwidth and parallel processing comes with a significantly higher monthly subscription cost. Harnessing this power means your daily routine shifts to monitoring a collective agent inbox, reviewing and approving overlapping streams of work. Upgrading to Ultra takes you from a solo operator to managing the output of an entire digital department. Giving an AI full autonomous access to execute terminal commands and manipulate live web browsers requires strict oversight. Blind trust is a liability. There are documented cases where unsupervised agents attempted to optimize code and accidentally wiped out entire local file directories. This flowchart tracks the Safe Manager workflow. The agent generates an artifact, but it must hit a strict decision gate for human verification. As the manager, you review the artifacts before signaling approval for the agent to execute final code. Always back up your local work environments. Treat Antigravity as an experimental sandbox, not a flawless tool that runs on autopilot. Adopting an agentic workflow elevates your responsibility. You stop acting as a task typist and become a strict quality assurance director. Deciding which tier to adopt comes down to your daily operational volume. This scorecard breaks it down. For a solo marketer doing occasional ad hoc research, the agentic setup gets a hard pass. If you only check keyword volume sporadically, stick to standard free chat interfaces. The grueling API setup is not worth the benefit. The math changes entirely for SEO agencies, technical marketers, and operators running high-volume campaigns. At a high volume, the Ultra tier pays for itself within the first few client audits. Running 3 agents at once finishes a week's worth of manual data entry in the time it takes to review a single inbox. The operators who scale successfully will be the ones who stop writing manual queries and start building the AI infrastructure to do it for them.